Hello, my name is Brian. This is Football Manager 22, and we're back at Malia. We're opening in on the team stats screen, mostly so we can look at club attendance, and we are a very okay 11th, after having previously been, usually about 19th, with 16,000 attendance when we were borrowing Almeria Stadium. But now we have our own beautiful stadium, and while we don't sell it out, 93% capacity is not bad, and we're certainly packing it in for the important games. So let's move on over to the club vision screen where, we're back to being untouchable. We're now being evaluated as very pleased for playing possession soccer, so we're doing an even better job of that than usual, and still pleased at high tempo pressing soccer. We're working within the payroll budget. We are on pace to, we're going to make it out of the knockouts of the Conference League. We are doing far better than mid-tabling La Liga, and the Copa del Rey, the draw just happened. A-plus performance, great. We have an affiliate club now. It is Sochaux in Liga 2, the French second division. France is, frankly, the best country for players who have an African second nationality. So I thought it would be okay. I was, again, hoping that the affiliate club would come back and be like, hey, sure, you can have an African affiliate. But no. So in the end, since France was an option, I took a French affiliate club. I think it'll be okay to help us keep knowledge of France and look for those good players who are French with a African second nationality. We have improved our club's training facilities. They are not state-of-the-art. They are superb. So we still have one more level to go. So hopefully we can request that early next year. And I guess we could request now, maybe. I think we got the budget. We also improved our youth recruitment. So that is now just, I think, average. But it had been, adequate. So we have superb training facilities, average youth facilities, average academy coaching, and average youth recruitment. Those last three just factor in largely to how good the new gens are that you get, while training facilities are all that matter about how your players improve. And so let's take it to the competition screen and see how we've done so far. And the answer is great. We have 9 wins and 4 draws on the year and no losses in 13 games. And you go, Brian, okay, well, that's great. But, maybe you just had a easy performance, easy schedule. Negative. We have a win over Barcelona, a draw against Real Madrid. Hell yeah. So taking it over to the La Liga and some friendlies, whatever. Open the year with a win over Celta and a win over Alaves, draw against Villarreal, friendly against Almeria right before we play them. As thanks for letting us borrow our stadium, Almeria is our go-to friendly team. Drew with Almeria, beat Osasuna, Bilbao, and Betis in a row. And I'm like, there's no way that continues. This one, Barcelona's next. But we beat Barcelona on the road. This one actually makes me feel a little bit like a tactical genius. I was playing 4-1-3-2. That is one defensive midfielder, 2 wings, not wings, wide midfielders, and a center midfielder and 2 strikers. So basically a 4-4-2 with the center mid recessed. Explicitly playing as a defensive midfielder. And so we for the first 72, 73 minutes, we played a very, very defensive soccer, low block, counter-attacking soccer, just trying to lump it forward, either hitting Emmanuel Jadjé and using him as a target man, or hitting Santos and letting his speed break the back of the line. Didn't happen, but so we did that, and eventually they scored in the 68th minute. But in the 72nd minute or so, we made all 3 of our changes all at once and completely changed our formation, going back to our usual 4-3-3, and we moved it up to attacking from the usual positive. And in the last 20 minutes, we overwhelmed Barca. They just had no idea what was happening. They they got all comfortable with us playing in this soft, low block, and then when we switched in some new personnel and came at them, they crumbled, and we got 2 goals off of headers and took the win. We drew Real Madrid at home. We didn't pull the same trick. We just played straight up against them, though we'll probably pull this trick when we go play them later in the year. Wins over Malaga, Getafe, we drew Granada, and then a win over Valencia recently, 4-1 on the road. Feels great. So yeah, that's going splendiferously. How have we done in the Conference League? Well, it shouldn't be much of a surprise. We beat Hapoel Beersheva 2-0 on the road, and then we drew Hoffenheim at home. That was a little disappointing that was a draw at home. We beat Bate 4-0 at a neutral site, and we beat Bate 7-0 at home. So where does that put us? That puts us at 3-1, 3 wins, 1 draw, 10 points, and qualified. Same with Hoffenheim. Not exactly surprising, given we're 2 teams in the Big 5 leagues playing as 2 teams that aren't. So we have 2 games left. One of them is the game that is sitting right here against Hoffenheim. By my calculations, and let me double check the rules just in case. Results between teams is the first tie break. Okay. So, if we beat Hoffenheim, we get a 13 points, they go on 10. Even if they win their last game, we lose our last game. That means that they can get to equal on 13, but we'd have a win over them and a draw, which would mean we're in. If Hoffenheim beats us, the same thing. If we draw, that means it will be on draw and our individual results, and it means it'll come down to that last result. Us playing Hapoel Beersheva, and them playing Bate. Right now, we are exactly equal on goal differential. If a draw happens, we'd still be equal on goal differential. So, boy, howdy, would that be a spicy game to try and kill our opponents more in the last game, or get a result when the other doesn't. But so far, nothing's indicated that Bate and Hapoel can get a result against us. I'm going to quickly check that we didn't make any transfers at the end. No, okay, it's because the window hadn't closed by the time I made the last video. But we did not make any moves in the dying embers of the transfer window. So here we are, game against Hoffenheim on the road in Germany. They do not have our old Ishaku Abdul Fatawu winger. They sold him for like $7.5 million, which is kind of confusing, because he'd been a regular starter for them last year, and they bought him from us for like $20 million. So I don't know what they were thinking, and he seemed like he had done decently for him, but that how it be, I suppose. AI is dumb. So they're coming out of 4-2-3-1. Is that our stand right there that no one traveled to Hoffenheim to go to? Could be. Alright, we're in our red with black stripes. And away we go. So, if this is a decisive result, a win or a loss, and thus decides the group, then obviously it'll end up being broadcast. If this game ends up being a draw, then what I'm saying right now probably doesn't matter, as I'll probably drop the video and re-record our attempt to blow out the Israeli side, while keeping an eye on Hoffenheim against Bate. Against Bate, whatever. I can't remember exactly where Bate is from. Daniels intercepts. Finds Santos. Unfortunately, doesn't have a angle to pass it up to Ja JJ. Plays it out to Abby. Traore is still injured, just getting back. Enzo Boyamo has just gotten back from injury. Sissignon does a poor job there, but luckily, I believe it was Hamidi worked his way into the discussion and blocked the shot attempt. And they will have a throw-in, and we will pass the 15-minute mark. Didn't get a chance to agree to tell whatever player that was of mine to mark whatever player of theirs that was, but hey, hopefully it won't punish us here. Give an encouragement to the boys. Tell Sissignon to press their left winger, I assume. Plays as an inverted winger, Nasi Unuvar. Okay. We're doing decently in the possession battle, though we just lost a percentage point from 49% to 48%. But so far, haven't really turned that into chances created. But there we go. Sissignon leading out Jeffrey Santos for his 9th goal of the year as the young man from Cape Verde Islands slots it past Hoffenheim's keeper and gives Malia a 1-0 lead. Nice little give and go. Ooh, interesting. Seems like it could have gone wrong multiple times with no one out there guarding a player who'd moved out to the wing, and then the wall immediately abandoning the taker, who immediately got the ball back. Daniels with a clear and obvious trip there. And, sure, they'll get another set piece from here. Don't love it. Looks like it's reasonably well marked up. Oof. Other than that guy. But luckily it was a long-range attempt, and Babangida does a great job with the diving save. Outswinging corner here. Again, not really concerned by those. That's not great. Let's try and run it out to the half. And we'll make the change here. We don't really have a left wing with Traore not back from injury. We've gone defensive at times and played Quinton Haji up at left wing because he has some crossing ability. Doesn't really have pace. Has decent mentals. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Gabu is right-footed. Youssef, what? Okay, well let's go crazy. Let's play Youssef out there, and let's move, say, Gabu in at defensive midfield. Youssef actually has a decent crossing ability. He's, unfamiliar with position, but just his stat block is well-rounded, and that means he's pretty attribute flexible into where he plays. He's also left-footed. If he was Gayabua is right-footed, otherwise it might have been Gayabua we put out on the wing. Sassignon has since picked up a yellow card. Assuming... Oh, no, we can't play Anu. Or, no, we can. We changed registrations. We took one of the kids in our U19 side that the AI decided to register and unregistered him so we could register Frederic Anu. So assuming he's on the bench, we will slide in Anu for Sissignon here, probably about 65th. He's tiring out and on a yellow card, so... Okay, Anu is not an option. I think he's injured. Great. Hamidi would be our best course of action. He's pacey, doesn't really have the offensive capabilities you like, but, has the speed and has the defensive capabilities. So let's do that and bring in Matsima at center back. And it wants me to take off Emmanuel Jagege. It's certainly possible that we'll do that. Let me think. Okay, so we could bring in Cowio, and then I'd prefer to place Santos at the tip of the spear. And use Cowio's fresher legs to drop back into defense if he needs. Okay, well, let's go with that. And those will be our challenges. Sammy with the throw-in up to Yusuf. Leads it out, looking for Jajajay. Exchange hasn't happened yet. Substitution, whatever you like. Ball is pinged about in defensive midfield as they look for an opening. Nobody pressing them super hard, but a decent line of defenders preventing really good forward-looking looks. Not the prettiest thing ever, but hey. And then back to Babangida, who just launches it. Well, eventually Sammy made a run to get in the way, but I feel like he should have made the run earlier too. Actually work harder to dispossess and to deny possession to. It doesn't look like Hoffenheim has done much in this half in terms of putting threats on goal. So certainly happy to see that. Babangida plays long. Their fullback comes away with it. Good passing from them, but Hamidi, well, not punished. Hamidi kind of understandably just goes to clear it, but clears it right into their opposite side winger. But since he tries to one-time it, it's no luck. Jim into Gayabua over to Daniels. Daniels plays it out to Hamidi, plays it into Cowio. He's going to do a bit of a dribble drive into the box. Out to Hamidi. Would have liked to see him lay it back to Jim there, but Jim then exchanges with Hamidi. Header, unfortunately, is just too far away to really threaten their keeper. And we'll have a throw-in on this side now. Sammy, what are you doing, buddy? That was a bad decision. Luckily, Hamidi, again, playing good defense there, guarding the wings once they try to get big crosses across. Ayala, unfortunately, dispossesses probably Jim. Uh-oh. Saved by Babangida, and then cleared by one of our center backs when he didn't have possession of it and just had knocked it loose. Turn in some time wasting, turn on the ability to dwell on the ball maybe a little more. But we're in the attack. If we could get a second goal in the dying embers, that would be even better than just running out the clock. Gabu taps it up to Yusuf, goes for it, can't find it, and they're on the counter. You know, it's a slow developing counter where Riyadh does a good job to knock it out and give ourselves a chance to reestablish our defense. And yeah, they didn't do anything worth even noting, and we kick it out the sideline again. It looks like this could be their final attack, or if nothing else, their penultimate attack of the game. Somehow out to Resta. No, the defenders don't go out with him, but ball's headed free. Callio making a run with it. Beautiful stuff. Unfortunately, he's just dribbling it way too far out in front of himself and gets it taken away. Batarina runs the end line. Oh, shifty little kick from Riyadh. And I'm liking our game position here. Yes, indeed. And so, despite Torrent, good opportunities there late in the game, our earlier attempts are what hold up. Good job by the defensive line and Santos for scoring. Cessignon for when he was in. The midfield could have used some work, but hey, in the end, it's all that matters is that we have the 1 and they have the 0, and that we will be the 1 seed coming out of the group, and Hoffenheim the 2. Based on my understanding of this basically being the same structure as the Europa League, we will get to have a bye into the second knockout round, while Hoffenheim will have to deal with a team from the Europa League coming down. short little week-long injury for Charles Abbey, but that's still going to create headaches for us. Medical Center. Traore will be back in 1 to 4 days with his torn hamstring. Let's figure out how fast we can integrate him into the side, because we don't really have another left wing beyond Abbey and Traore. Not a true left wing. We have players we can play there, but no one who feels comfortable playing there. But anyways, that's what I have to figure out. Unfortunately, despite this amazing start to the year, I believe this is an AFCON year, which means come January, which isn't looking that hard. It's 3 home games as well, so hopefully that helps. We will lose a lot of our good players to playing in the AFCON Championship. So we will have to scramble to fill that. Also, we will probably have a game or possibly even 2 from the Copa del Rey in that time. That, again, hopefully we have a nice easy draw that basically our backups and possibly our youth side players can fill in and keep us up, keep us afloat however high we are until we get our players back, later in the month if they don't make knockout runs, and in early February if they do. So things are going great so far. It's amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back with an update probably at the end of January to cover exactly that AFCON period as well as the winter transfer window. Again, I know exactly with a laser eye who I'm after. We might also make some contract changes to youth players because I think they might need to get called up to play for the senior team during that time. It'll be an interesting time. So thank you so much for joining me. Love to hear from you if you have anything to say. If you don't, I hope you have a very lovely day. Goodbye.